Thank you. Thank you. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and it's good to see you all. And we're here really to send the clear message that we are about to face an additional crisis around housing in our city. We're standing here in front of the Housing Court building where many of New Yorkers go through evictions and go through very difficult moments. It's extremely traumatic to be in this court with the uncertainty of where you're going to live and where you're going to stay. And that's why we want to highlight by standing here. COVID has hit New Yorkers hard. People are worrying over and over again where they're going to sleep and will they have a roof over their heads. And it has really fostered a feeling of really uncertainty that we think we must address. And far too many struggling New Yorkers, particularly working class, middle class, low income New Yorkers, are struggling to make ends meet during this time of COVID. And housing is a place that's important for all of us. We must ensure that we no longer put those New Yorkers who are at risk of eviction. We must allow them to know that help is on the way and help is here in the city. And so today, I want to echo the call by Governor Hochul and the New York congressional delegation urging the Federal Treasury Department to make an immediate increase in the federal aid relief program. This is a way we could get on the ground and solve a real problem in our city. And when you think about it, New York State is only received $27 million out of the $1.1 billion the Treasury Department set aside for further assistance. That is insulting to our state and is not going to solve the problem we need to solve. New York City has the highest rents in the nation. 1/3 of renters here spend 50% of their income on rent. 50%. The federal government must help working people in this state, and that is our call. We want the federal government to ensure they bring that relief. We want New Yorkers to know that they're not alone. We are in this together. We must do everything that's possible to provide the resources that they need. But we also must do something else. We've done an amazing job in this city of giving additional resources and assistance. And so we want New Yorkers to know their rights. Far too many New Yorkers, particularly those where English is a second language, are not aware of the various rights they have as tenants. So we are going to hit the ground and make sure that our hotline, our PEU hotline, is utilized and make sure we bring the resources and information to New Yorkers on what they can do. And we want to send a loud and clear message. Lockouts are illegal. You cannot lock people out of their homes, and illegal evictions is a crime, is often overlooked, and we want to make sure that people are aware of that. That's why we have a robust public engagement unit. The goal is to engage the public where they are and give them the information that they need. Every New Yorker, and I want to stress that, every New Yorker has a right to legal counsel. If you need it, we want to be here to provide that legal counsel for you. And we're going to do it free, regardless of your zip code, regardless of if you are employed or not. We want to give you the support that you deserve. I've talked about this over and over again. Day one, as I campaigned and as I became the mayor of the city, this is not only professional, it's personal. I know what it is to live on the verge of homelessness, something that my family experienced, and I know the trauma of going into a building like this with the uncertainty, are you going to leave without your home or without a roof on your head? Too many New Yorkers are feeling the pressure, barely hanging on day after day, month after month, with the uncertainty of how they're going to get through this. Right now, New Yorkers need relief, and we can get that relief. That's why we are connecting New Yorkers to resources in the city and urging the federal government to give New York City our fair share. So at this time, before we answer any questions, I want to turn it over to our amazing advocate for tenants in New York City, the tenant Outreach Director at the Mayor's Public Engagement Unit, Jasmine Bastia, and I want to thank her for what she has done and what she's continued to do to just get stuff done for the tenants of this city. Thank you, Jasmine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Batista. I am the Tenant Outreach Director for the Mayor's Public Engagement Unit. I am a single mother of 3 children. I have faced eviction. I have applied for assistance. I know how difficult it is to have to juggle all these challenges at once. Me and my team work every day closely with New Yorkers, whether it's reaching them door to door, on the phone, or in their communities to connect them to critical city resources. We know how any tenant who's worried about losing their home, that they already have a lot to worry about. We know how difficult it is with them having to navigate complicated city bureaucracy. It is important that tenants know that we have their back. All New Yorkers who are facing this issue, we are here for you. Anyone who needs assistance, call 311 and ask for the tenant helpline. It is that simple. If you need assistance, call 311 and request for the tenant helpline. Our passionate specialists are there to provide information on resources and connect tenants to free legal counsel if needed. We also work closely with other city agencies to make sure that we're able to help tenants with the needs to address their issues. We also assist with applications for rental arrears and other benefits. Over the next few weeks, my team is going to be proactively reaching out to tens and thousands of New Yorkers, but we need your help to spread the word. You can find more information on our website at nyc.gov/illegal lockouts. With the eviction moratorium set to expire this weekend, there are 3 things we want every New Yorker to know, as the mayor mentioned. Lockouts are illegal. No one should self-evict. All tenants have the right to stay in their homes unless they choose to leave or are evicted through a formal court process. Under New York City's right to counsel law, legal services are free, available to every person in every zip code, and available no matter what your immigration status is. When you call 311, ask for the tenant helpline. Our team of trained specialists will answer your question and can connect those who need legal support. While we know that the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, ERAP funding, is limited, a pending ERAP application will provide a temporary protection from eviction. If you are a tenant behind on ERAP, we encourage you to apply. So again, please know that with those 3 things, at any time, feel free to call 311 and request the tenant helpline if you need assistance. I will always be thankful for the people who helped me understand how to get help when I needed it. And I'm so proud of my team at the Public Engagement Unit because we do that for our neighbors every day, making sure people are safe, housed, and have the services they need. Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate that a lot. And I hope you didn't miss the fact that not only is Jasmine knowledgeable, but I find that our team is filled with those who have personally had to go through the abandonment and the betrayal, I like to say, of government. And when she walks into a building, when she deals with a case, she's dealing with it from personal experience. And that's the quality that you bring to this initiative, and I thank you for that.
All right, we're ready to take some questions. Please go ahead, Marcia.
How are you, Marcia?
Mayor, I have actually 2 questions. The first has to do with housing. And my question is, a lot of the landlords who
Can you speak up a little bit, Marcia?
You want me to what?
Speak up a little bit. We can't hear you.
A lot of the landlords say that one of the problems that they're facing is that the housing courts have yet to open. Do you think it would be a good thing for both tenants and landlords for the housing courts to open so they can adjudicate some of these cases? And my second second question has to do with Rikers, where there's a quasi-hunger strike going on with 200 inmates saying that they're not going to eat the institutional food because of protesting conditions. I wonder if you could talk about both those issues.
You talk so low, Marsha. You know, first, let me deal with the first. Yes, we should open our housing courts, and we should also utilize technology to properly resolve these cases. I think that we've learned a lot through how we utilize Zoom and WebEx and others. The goal is to, number one, give people the right to talk about their cases if they have real issues that they are facing, and to give people the assistance that they deserve, and that's what we want to do. On the hunger strike issue, I have a briefing every morning with my commissioner at the Department of Correction that I am extremely proud to have on the island, and I was extremely impressed that he met with the inmates and others to find out what the issues were and why they were on a hunger strike. Because it's about communication. The failure to communicate is creating a lot of our crises. And he's looking to resolve those issues and have a real conversation on the ground. And I am just really pleased with the way he's handling this situation. And he's going to be doing a state of correction to allow everyone to know what his vision is to turn around the Department of Correction.
Mr. Mayor, I also have two questions.
Yes.
Thank you. First, why did you not seek prior permission from the Conflicts of Interest Board before your brother was hired? And second, did you authorize Bill Banks to personally fire the NYPD's chief of IAB, a chief who had investigated Mr. Banks in the past, making it a potential conflict in the eyes of some people? And also, Mr. Banks was outside the chain of command, according to some insiders who are not happy about this, not officially in his deputy mayor position yet. So did you authorize him to do that, and why would you allow Mr. Banks to be the one to execute this? To carry this out?
First, I want to deal with the first part. We believe, my legal counsel has made it clear that we are following the rule for Conflict of Interest Board, and I feel I have full trust and faith in my chief counsel, Brendan, and he's stating that we're following the process. We have filed, and we're going to follow the process, and the COIB will make the determination, and we will follow their ruling.
Hire a family member, an immediate family member?
I'm not aware of that because you have others that have hired immediate family members like daughters and others and wives. And so, again, COIB is going to make that determination.
They were an unpaid position, sir.
COIB will determine. My opinion doesn't matter. It's COIB. That's the opinion that matters. And so instead of us trying to say, well, we feel this way or that way, it is COIB. I think it's an amazing entity in our government. It's the Conflicts of Interest Board. It takes away the personalities and allow these smart people to make the determination, and I'm going to follow the guidelines of COIB.
Mr. Banks, as for Mr. Banks terminating the chief of the IAB?
Mr. Banks does not have the authority to terminate anyone. I know he has a relationship with the chief of IAB. They both served for a long time, but the police commissioner makes that determination. Those informal conversations that he had with someone, I'm not privy to them, but he does not have that authority.
Do you feel like that the state should extend the eviction moratorium while it waits for more federal aid to arrive? Also, with the Manhattan District Attorney's new policy, so far at least 2 armed robbery charges have been reduced to misdemeanors. What is your opinion on this policy, and do you think more should be done to change this policy?
I want to answer one at a time because you gave me 2. We like in the 2 days today. Everybody's giving us 2 questions, you know. So first, the DAs and the state, it's almost the same response. What I have witnessed is that too much is playing out on policies on social media, Twitter, and not in communications. We've met with a group of electeds, I think over 70 electeds yesterday on Zoom to answer some of their questions. I am fostering a relationship that private conversations are private conversations. I communicated with the district attorney on my thoughts on his policies, and I have communicated with others on their thoughts on their policies. I'm not going to share private conversations. I'm going to allow our communications to remain a healthy one so we can turn around our city.
To see results already, I mean, already a few charges have been reduced in just the past week. Do you feel like enough is being done right now to change this policy?
DAs have a non-mandate. They are allowed to determine who they're going to prosecute and how they're going to carry out their offices. I respect that non-mandate, and I respect that the DA must make the determination of prosecuting the right cases. My job is to keep the city safe, and I'm going to continue to share my opinions with him privately on how we can collaborate, and I believe there's going to be a great collaboration. I have a great relationship with all of the DAs, and we're going to work together to make the city a safe city.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, the building where 17 people died in the Bronx on Sunday, it was partially owned by a member of your transition team. Have you spoken to Rick's property yet? And given that there were reports of heating issues and door issues, what is the city doing to hold this landlord accountable?
I had over almost 1,000 people on my transition team. And it was my goal to put together a transition team with a cross-section of New Yorkers, those who own homes, those who were tenant advocates. It was to hear voices from the entire city. I think far too often we draw lines and put up walls, and we're unwilling to sit in the room with those we disagree with. I did not want that. He's one of almost 1,000 people that participated in my transition team. I have not communicated with him at all, and I have the utmost trust in our agencies to conduct a thorough investigation to determine what happened, how do we prevent things like this from happening again. Unfortunately, when you're doing analysis of a lot of the complaints, many of them happened prior to taking control of this building. We need to make sure agencies identify violations and correct them. But I have the utmost respect for my agencies and the fire marshals to come up with a real cause of what happened here so we can prevent as much as possible in the future.
Mr. Mayor, I also have two questions. First on housing, since we're talking about housing, what is it you're going to do about appointing a deputy mayor for housing, which a position that's previously existed in other administrations, given that this is such a big issue affecting so many New Yorkers? Are you going to appoint a deputy mayor for that position? My second question is on the fire in the Bronx. There's been a lot of focus on closing the door and making sure that people know what to do in the event of a fire. But what are you doing to ensure that some of the conditions that we have found at this building, the lack of heat, the doors that weren't working, aren't also happening at other buildings like this one, including NYCHA, other Mitchell-Lama developments? Why isn't the city taking a more aggressive approach in terms of the oversight that it has over these properties?
So let's deal with the two questions. The first one was dealing with eviction. It was just a long question. I lost the first part. Okay,
Housing.
Deputy Mayor of Housing. We continue to grow out. New Yorkers stop me every day, Gloria, and they say it's unbelievable that you have only been doing this for less than 2 weeks. You're everywhere, and you're addressing our issues on the ground all the time. And, I know it's hard to believe that it has only been less than 2 weeks. We're still building out. We're still doing an evaluation, and we will determine to roll out if we're going to do more deputy mayors. But no matter who you are and what position you hold, you must have the trust to get it right and to get it done. That is what we believe. And so we are still evolving, and we will make a determination if we need a deputy mayor. And I think your question is a valid one on what we're doing proactively. We're going to immediately put in place a process that, number one, that doors are closing automatically, and we need the public to help us. The millions of doors in this city, we need to put in place an easy system that the public can report, particularly in the door closure, because that saves lives, and we know that. And so we're going to make sure we sit down a real PSA that I'm going to participate in to let the public know where to call and report those circumstances where doors are not closing properly because it saves lives. Please make sure the communication team gets on top of that, because you know whenever reporters give us good advice, we like to move right away.
All right, you go first, then we'll go to Mike.
Okay, why did you wait until after it was reported in the Post and the Daily News to ask permission from the Conflict of Interest Board? Also, have you formally sought the letter, and why did you demote the brother after initially appointing him to a deputy commissioner for the position and then switching his role to a slightly lower rank one?
You know, that's a lot of sensationalism about demoting my brother. And, you know, I cannot say this enough. I love my brother. My brother loves me. I trust him. These are complicated times. And he's the best person with uniqueness of my type of security detail. I was on the subway today engaging with people on my way into the office. And so we were in office just a few days before the team executed. This was not, you know, hey, gotcha. We were going through the process. We were dealing with the COVID crisis. We were dealing with other crises. And our team, when we put together the legal team, they started the process. And so he was not demoted. We wanted to be clear to the Conflict of Interest Board. You guys wrote his job. You wrote his job description. You wrote everything about him. You know, so I was amazed how you were writing. That wasn't anything that we were putting out or trying to hide. We're doing a great job, and we're going to follow the Conflicts of Interest Board ruling.
Yes.
All right, Michael, you next.
I got two as well. I'm going to be like Ernie Banks.
After Michael, we're going to do our last one.
All right. The first question is a follow-up to Jake's on Groper. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name.
Yes.
Why not talk to him? I mean, he was on your transition team. I get it was a big transition team, but there's a connection there. Why not, you know, get on the phone with him and ask him, you know, what's going on here and try to get a more clear beat on it that way?
I'm extremely clear from my law enforcement background. The best way to taint a review is to anyway give the vision that you are trying to influence. We have trained investigators, and they will review this process. The worst thing I can do is get in the way of what they're doing and send that signal. I think let the reviewers do their job, and it is not fitting for me to call someone in the middle of a review. Let the process take its course. Hold on, you got two. Hold on one moment. Hold on. Y'all know I don't do that calling out stuff. You know?
The investigator at Rikers who got fired, we're told that she was fired after she wouldn't get rid of some disciplinary cases by the new commissioner there. Do you care to comment on that? I mean, that seems pretty counterintuitive that would go on there.
Well, this city is filled with 8.8 million people, 20 million different rumors. I'm going to hire the best person to do the best job to deal with a failed correctional facility. And I'm going to give him the support to carry out that and build his team. And I have just the utmost confidence in the Commissioner Molina. I just have so much trust. Every time I speak with him, I get more and more confident. You saw the story that was in today's paper about gangs running the facilities. You saw fights happen inside, gang members controlling the facilities, intimidating other inmates. We need a correction commissioner that is finally going to get Rikers under control, and we have to allow him to build his team to do so, and I have the utmost confidence in him.
Any comment on the teachers union calling for a remote option?
What we want to do, we want to provide the safest place for our children, and we want to have our children in school. I am working closely with the president of the UFT. I think that people are surprised to see how well we're doing. This is not Chicago. This is New York. where we are communicating with each other because we're both emotionally intelligent, and we can resolve this. We can get through this crisis, and we will find the right way to educate our children in a very safe environment. And if we're able to put in place a temporarily remote option, we're welcome to do so with the partnership of my good friend, Michael Mulgrew.
What's your plan to deal with the street homeless? Yesterday, a street homeless individual attacked a person who tried to help him, and then about a week earlier did the same thing to a woman who tried to help him. He's now in court here today. What's your plan to deal with street homeless?
Yes, street homelessness is for real, and it's a real crisis, and it has been a crisis for a long time. We rolled out last week our initiative that we are going to do on the subway system. My my commissioner of Department of Health and Mental Services came from an amazing program, Fountain House, where he was able to build out trust with homeless people, 80% stability rate to get people off the streets into housing. That's what we want to do. We want to build supportive housing. When you talk street homelessness, for the most part, you're saying those with mental health illnesses or those who have went through some form of trauma. We have to get on the streets. We have to build that trust and get people into the services that they need, and we're going to do that. We're going to bring a new approach to street homelessness and zero in on the causes that we can't seem to get it right in the first place.
He gives a coat, the guy gives his coat off his back to the guy, and he gets attacked, and his wallet stolen, $1,500 stolen from the man. And what does that say about crime in New York City with felony assaults up already this year?
No, it doesn't say anything that belittles New Yorkers. I think that was an admirable thing that he did, but it does say that people are hurting. People are in a lot of pain. And as I move through this city and I engage with everyday New Yorkers, COVID has really brought a level of despair. People are in a painful place, and that is why we must start putting positive energy back in our city. And I am going to ensure, as I move around this city, I'm going to continually tell New Yorkers we're going to be all right. That's why I put my thumbs up. That's why I move throughout this city, because we may not look and see the pain, but I do. I notice, and I'm a trauma identifier, and when you see someone attack someone that helps them, that is a signal that people are in pain, and we need to alleviate, if not eradicate, that pain that people are experiencing. But I'm going to, hold on, let me do this, please. I'm going to take executive privilege, because if I don't answer your questions right now, you guys are going to, constantly go after me. So I'm asking to get this resolved. So I'm gonna take executive privilege. I just hired Max. Max is taking all my fun away. You know that? So 1, 2, and final 3, and then I have to bounce.
Yesterday afternoon, there were 2 attempted carjackings in Midtown Manhattan, and the issues with the Dwayne Reeds and the raids on the Dwayne Reeds. People are getting very nervous and upset. Are you rolling out any kind of response to that as part of a crime-fighting plan? I know you addressed subway crime, but what about this?
Yes, I spoke with the commissioner this morning, and again, another great pick. She is going to roll out our real crime plan. She's going to do it publicly, and then she's going to do it with various community groups, and it's going to include the crisis management teams, as well as some of those quality of life issues. When I meet with my supermarkets, and they share with me that they're having a problem. Sorry about that. Can't tell you that. They tell me about what's happening in the supermarkets, our Dwayne Reed's. An indicator is when you walk into Dwayne Reed and everything is locked up. That is taking away the economic productivity, because now you need a salesperson to go and unlock things. So we're going to zero in on those quality of life crimes, but we want to do it in a creative way. As I said before, a person is if he or she continuously shoplift, when they get to the precinct, we should be connecting them with the services they need on the precinct level. We can defer prosecution for those type of petty offenses, give people the services they need so we can stop that revolving door crisis. But those serious crimes, the carjackings, that 19-year-old baby that was shot, we have to catch that guy. And I refuse to apologize for people who are violent in our city. Those crimes we're zeroing in on, and we're going to make sure that they're taken off our street like the district attorney in Brooklyn did with that gang takedown.
Apologies if I missed something, but 2 weeks ago you were saying that the safest place for children was in the school buildings, and you're considering a temporary remote option. What's changed in your thinking or your conversations with school officials, the chancellor, about where is the safest place for kids to be?
Has not changed. I'm still in the same place. Safest place is in school. And I'm going to continue to push that. But we do have to be honest that there's a substantial number of children, for whatever reason, parents are not bringing them to school. I have to make sure children are educated. We've lost 2 years of education. 2 years. The fallout is unbelievable. Math and English. English is not as bad as math, but the numbers with math, they are frightening. And so my goal is to continue to push forward to get our children in school, but I must entertain with my president of the UFT to come together as a partner and say, how do we, number one, identify those children that are not in school? Because we want to go see them, bring them into school, but I'm willing to sit down and entertain with the UFT if there is a way to do a temporary remote option. You know, if we can do it, and it is a quality option, but my goal, I want children in school, because it's not only the academics. You hear me say it all the time. It is the holistic approach, the full development of the personhood of the children. All the experts state they should be in school. This is not Eric's opinion. This is the opinion of the experts. One last question, and then I got to bounce.
Yeah, two questions. In regards to the deputy mayor for housing, so you're saying you're still considering appointing a deputy mayor for housing, and a lot of housing advocates have said they think, the importance of housing is being demoted by the fact that we don't have one. How do you respond to that? Second, on your brother, so are you saying if Floyd comes back and says it's not okay, that you will terminate him? And if they think he can't get a salary ethically, is he willing to work without a salary?
This is under COIB rule, and whatever determination they make, I will follow COIB. When it comes down to my brother, I said this over and over again. I trust my brother. He's qualified. He could do the job. He's the best person for the uniqueness of what I am, how I want my security to be. In the area of your first question again.
Deputy Mayor for housing.
Deputy Mayor of Housing. Every time I talk about Deputy Mayor of Housing. The area of Deputy Mayor of Housing, we are still evaluating. And those who believe that housing is going to be lowered under my administration, they don't know me. Housing is a crucial issue for me. And it doesn't matter who has the title. As the mayor of the city of New York, I'm going to fight on behalf of New Yorkers so they can have housing. Because as I stated, this is not professional, this is personal, and I know what it is to be out of housing. Listen, gotta go. I'll be here all day.